Hi, welcome to Psych 245, Abnormal Psychology. There's going to be a couple of orientation videos. This will be the first of them. This one is going to walk us through what the course requirements are, and then there'll be another one that will show you how the course is set up so you know how to navigate it. And then finally, there'll be one just talking about the term paper. So three all told in this orientation module. I'm Kim O'Donnell. You'll see a lot of my face in these lecture videos that will show up in every chapter that we have. There's a bio in the orientation material. You could find a little bit more about me, but I hope that we get to know each other a little bit, even if we're not going to be sitting in a classroom together. So let's take a look at the syllabus. So whenever you come into the course, you're going to land on this announcement page, and this left-hand toolbar is going to help you navigate. What you're going to see today is my view, which is a little bit different than yours, most notably right now in the fact that everything's viewable to me, but things will only show up to you as they're scheduled. But the syllabus is right here. All of you have access to that and have had for a number of days. So let's take a look at that. And you'll notice that when we click on that syllabus tab, we come to two different links. One that says syllabus, and that is what we're going to look at today. That is all of the material that is unique to our class. The college policies document has policies and information that is the same for all classes, so you can access information about withdrawal, information about student engagement policies, and also tutoring services and things like that. So it's a useful document, but not unique to our class. So if we open up the syllabus, and I'm just going to open it as its own document here, this is going to look familiar. The college has a pretty standard format for syllabi. It should look familiar. So I'm just going to walk you through things that are of particular importance, but I hope that you will download a copy of this to your device and especially make note of due dates, although those will also be available to you very clearly on Blackboard. So if we take a look at this, our course is an asynchronous course. Asynchronous means that while there are due dates each week that are set, you can work at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon if you'd like, as long as you meet those due dates. We do not have scheduled meetings. That is not how our course works. So it's an asynchronous online course, and we will be doing all of our work here on Blackboard. There'll be no place else you need to go to get work. Everything is going to be self-contained right here. I am not on campus, as most of your faculty are not, right? That we are off campus. And so I do have scheduled office hours, as you can see here. Those are times when I'm available to meet with you online, and I'll be using WebEx for that. But you do need to tell me prior to that, within the hour prior to that, that you want to meet, at least an hour prior to that. You can tell me days ahead, but I'm not going to just sit staring at a computer screen waiting to see if anybody shows up. So I'm happy to be available at those times, and the truth is I can be available at other times as well. So if you want to make an appointment to meet with me online, we could either do it at one of these times, or you can suggest or request a different time, and if I'm available, I'll be happy to do that. I do have some synchronous courses, and I do have a private practice, and so there are times when my hours are spoken for, but I'm pretty flexible and have lots of free time. The course description is here, and the learning outcomes, which are what I hope you will come away with, skills and knowledge that you'll come away with at the end of our semester. And then our required textbook is here. I did send out an email about our textbook, I believe. If I didn't, I will do that today. But you do need the textbook. And the 14th edition is already a couple of years old, so it really would be best to use that edition. However, you can rent it. You can find used copies of it. It should be widely available. You do not need the Wiley Plus access code. The book in the bookstore, I think, comes with that. If you find another edition, including a used edition, you will be fine. I will not be requiring that access code in any way. So if you have questions about that, you can let me know. Let's see. In terms of kind of instructional methodology, as I said, all of your work is going to take place on Blackboard. You are going to have due dates. We're going to talk in a second about the fact that we're going to run from a Monday to Sunday schedule. Each week has a new chapter, so we will be moving through many chapters. They will always open, the material for each chapter will always open on a Monday, will always close on a Sunday. You will have some work due on Thursday. So it's a Monday, Thursday, Sunday kind of schedule, and that is going to be extremely consistent. So that is, you're not going to need to juggle lots of different kinds of due dates. But it is going to be a Monday, Thursday, Sunday. So Monday to Sunday with work due in the middle on Thursday, and then work due on Sunday, the last day. Whenever work is due, it is due at the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. is how Blackboard sets that up. So you have the whole day of any due date that you see up until the last one. Having said that, my assumption is that you are going to be working consistently. As we'll talk about in a moment, you are going to have small group discussions for I think all but one of the chapters. In addition to whole class discussions, and part of your grade for that is about the consistency of your participation. So just logging on the last day before things are due and adding a contribution is not going to earn the grade that that being there consistently is. And my suggestion is that you log on to the course every day if you can, but at least every other day to kind of engage with the work. You'll have readings, obviously your textbook readings. There'll be sometimes some additional readings or outside video information that I provide. You will also in each chapter have lecture videos from me. So these are essentially the kinds of things I would talk about if we were meeting in a physical classroom. And instead of us being able to have a back and forth while I talk about these things, it will be a video presentation. I keep those at most to 15 minutes each, so they're bite-sized chunks. So there's multiple videos in each chapter, but you can watch them all at once. You can watch them a little bit at a time. They're in bite-sized chunks, and those are very important. Make sure that you watch those. It will be hard to succeed on exams if you haven't watched those. All right, so the grading system, you have this chart here, which is kind of the same as other charts that you'll see, except you'll notice that instead of being 90 to 100, it is 900 to 1,000 in terms of what the college, and actually I'm going to need to update that. So as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing this is not as detailed as I want it to. So I will update the copy of the syllabus and have more details so that you'll see that 900 to 920 is an A minus, and 921 and up is an A, so that there'll be more detail in there. So I'll replace that today. I'm recording this on Thursday, January 21st. So I'll replace that prior to the start of class tomorrow. But what we see here is that we work on a 1,000-point system, and that's going to be an important thing to understand as we talk about our evaluation criteria. I work on a point system because philosophically and practically I think it's a much better system than a letter grade system. So you will be earning points for everything you do as opposed to getting an A or a B. It does mean that there's no complicated math for you to do as you work through the course, that you know that a perfect grade would be 1,000, anything over a 920 will be an A, etc. And you kind of know that you need to, that you don't want to lose more than 80 points, let's say, so that you can earn that A if that's what you're going for, or whatever it is that you'd like to earn. And so you can, I invite you to kind of start with the assumption that you have 1,000. And then as you lose points, if you lose 1 point on a discussion, that you have a sense of where you are at any given point and kind of what leeway you have between where you are and what grade you want to earn in terms of what effort or work you need to put in to ensure earning as many points as possible. The other thing I like about the 1,000-point system is that, so the first is the transparency of it. The second is that in a traditional grading system, if you take an exam and you get a 55 on it, right, 55%, that's not great. and it's a failing grade, and you get an F, which counts as a 0 in your grade, which means that it's the same as if you didn't show up, that you knew more than half the material, but you're getting graded as if you didn't show up for the exam. And that feels really unfair and impractical to me. So in this grading system, you keep every point you earn. So even if you earn a failing grade, and I hope none of you do, but even if you earn a failing grade on an exam, so let's say you get, 55% on an exam. So on our exams, if an exam was worth 100 points and you get a 55 on it, you lost 45 points, but you keep 55 points. And so you may not like that you lost 45, but you still get to keep the 55 that you earned. You get credit for what you knew, right? So you'll see that there'll be a running total in Blackboard. It'll show you how many points you have at any given moment. Any extra credit, and there is a substantial extra credit at the end of the semester, worth 50 points, just gets added in, and so it just gets added into the total. So you'll never see, you'll have some redo opportunities on exams. Those points don't get added to the exam, they just get added into the total. So it's not important that they go on the exam because it's only the total that we care about. So how are you going to earn your grade, which is the thing you're most interested in? You will have 3 exams. They're essay exams. You will have the questions the day before the exam opens, and all exams will be open for a week. So they open on a Monday, they close on a Sunday, just like everything else. You only have one time period within that week to take it. So you have 2 hours to take the exam. Once you hit begin, the clock ticks. But you could do that in any 2-hour period during the week that it's available. And so 3 exams, all essay exams, 4 or 5 essays on each exam. And they will reflect the kinds of discussions and the kinds of things we've been engaging about during the chapters. So 120 points each exam, 360 points for over the 3 exams total. There is no cumulative midterm or final, just 3 separate exams. So every 5 chapters or so, you have an exam. Okay. Each chapter has 2 required Blackboard discussions, and you'll see this in each chapter, and I'll show you in the next video kind of what that's going to look like. The first, almost always, with the exception of our first chapter, where this won't be the case, but otherwise it will be a case study or a prompt of some kind that I provide, and mostly those will be small group discussions except for that first chapter. And so you will be randomly assigned a group. The group will be different each chapter, and you're going to have to problem solve. So either you'll have a case and you'll need to come up with a diagnosis, or the first group you'll be in is our paradigm chapter. You have a case and you have to apply a specific paradigm that you've been assigned. And so you have something specific, and one group member needs to hand that in by the end of the week. And you'll have online discussions to work together, and I'll be grading you based on your participation in that discussion. And I'm more concerned with your participation and the group engagement and your engagement with the group than I am with the output. So you guys could get something wrong and still earn full credit. It's about engaging with the material. And that's worth 15 points each. And then for another 15 points in each chapter, you have what I call muddiest points discussion. And that is a place where you will post questions about material that from the chapter that you want to know more about, or that you didn't understand, or that you're really interested in and want to go beyond what was presented in some way. And so you're going to ask specific, engaged, deeply reflective questions. And you have to attempt to answer at least one of your classmates. And so over the course of the week, and you'll see due dates on this in just a bit when we look in the next video. But the question is always due on Thursday. Your reply to classmates, as well as your small group work, is always due on Sunday. And so 30 points of discussion across the 2 discussions for each chapter. And that's going to be the bulk of your work, 30 points over 13 chapters, that adds up to 195 points. You've got and so you've got a number of a whole lot of your points are occurring in those discussions, which means you need to be engaged throughout the semester. And then finally, you have a term paper. There will be a video on that, so I'm not going to talk about that in detail. But total, with all the parts of that, that's 250 points. There are makeups for missed exams the last week in the semester. I do not need to violate your HIPAA rights and see medical stuff. If you miss an exam, you have a makeup, you have to wait until the end of the semester to take the makeup. And so we'll talk about that more. And then there is a personal message here that you can take a look at. Mostly it focuses on the importance of your active participation. And also, and I'll say this here, I know that for many people, things are very hard now. If anything comes up over the course of your semester, I need you just to be communicative with me. Obviously, we still need to finish by the end of the semester, but I will try to be as understanding as possible. Keep in mind that there's no way to make up those discussions, right? That those discussions depend on you interacting with a group of classmates, or you answering classmates' questions, or getting them to answer your questions. Once everybody else has moved on to a new chapter, really there's no way to make up those points. So do keep that in mind as we move through the weeks, but also, make sure you reach out to me if problems are popping up. It's much easier for me to do something proactively than to try to figure out a solution after a problem has occurred. Okay. All right, so go down here, and I'm just keeping an eye on how long this video is getting. And so we'll talk more about dates more in the next video. But you can see that the syllabus shows you the day we start and the day we end for each chapter. The first one that you're in right now is just for this weekend, but everything else goes from a Monday to a Sunday. Syllabus shows you when exams are. It shows you when work related to your term paper is due. And so all of that is spelled out. And again, you're going to want to download a copy of this to your device, or maybe even print out a hard copy to keep with you. All right, I'll meet you in the next video that's going to look at how our Blackboard shell is set up.